Hi, welcome back to Layden's Hollow. It's pretty early here in the morning. I thought I'd come down and get this done before the sun comes out and the greenhouse heats up a lot. I thought I'd talk a little bit about why plants turn yellow. Sometimes what will happen is if you went to a greenhouse and you bought a bunch of seedlings and they were nice and green and they look really good, you bring them home, you plant them in your gardens, and a day later your plants are starting to turn yellow. Well, that's usually caused by transplanting shock. Things that can cause that is maybe the pH is a little different than the soil that was in the containers. The texture could be different. There's many little things that can change to cause that, but that's usually called the plant goes into survival mode because things have changed. Another reason is nitrogen, which a good part, I'd say at least 70% of the time when your plants are turning yellow, it's a nitrogen deficiency or not enough nitrogen. There's lots of things that can cause that. Like in the spring of the year, we'll get a lot of rain, and nitrogen's water soluble. So if you get a lot of rain and you have soil that has a really good drainage, what will happen is the water will actually take your nitrogen away, and then your plants are struggling to get the nutrients they need. Sometimes compaction, if you don't have enough compost in your soil, sometimes the roots just can't get through the soil, and that could cause yellowing as well. If you're watering not enough or you're watering too much, a good rule of thumb is if you stick your finger down to your second knuckle and the soil is dry, then that means you need to water your plants. Now in my case here today, I have a few plants that are actually starting to turn yellow. Some of the leaves are turning yellow. And the reason for that is because I haven't put any nutrient on my plants since I planted these. And I planted these about 4 weeks ago now in my greenhouse. And I got a few plants that are actually starting to turn yellow, and that gives me the sign that I need to hurry up and add some nitrogen. Now I know my soil is not dry. I've checked it. It's not over wet. The reason I know it's nitrogen is because my greenhouse, it gets hot. And if you have a greenhouse, you'll know that, and that means you have to add a lot more water because the soil dries out faster. Now I was open this year because I had wood chips. I had quite a huge layer of wood chips on it, but it still dries out quicker than if it was outside. So today I got to go around and I got to add some nitrogen. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add some nitrogen, calcium sulfate, and some potassium. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm doing. Now my nitrogen comes from my nitrogen tea that I make. I've been using this for probably 10 years. My 45-gallon drop bucket is still outside. It's in the same spot it has been for 10 years. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do. This is my potassium. Like if you watch my videos before, you know I make all my own fertilizer. So this is my potassium. I just had a handful in a 5-gallon bucket. This is my calcium sulfate that I had in a 5-gallon bucket. I'll just knock it down so that it actually goes through the soil. Now I'm going to take you guys along and show you exactly. I'm going to show you the one that I have to add some nitrogen to. You can actually tell it's starting to turn a little yellow. And it's mostly just this plant. I got a little small bit of white powdery fungus on some of my zucchini plants because when it gets really hot outside, I will spray the leaves to cool them down a little. I don't worry too much about the fungus because what I'll do is I'll just stop getting water on the leaves, because in here I have to water because we obviously don't get rain inside of our greenhouse. So mildew is not really a problem. And when I'm adding nitrogen to my plants, I don't add a lot. And my nitrogen is watered down quite a bit. So the reason I do that is because I don't want to burn my plants with too much nitrogen. So in these plants in here, I will probably add nitrogen 3 or 4 times during the growing season, sometimes more. All depends on how hot the greenhouse gets and how much water I have to have. Because most of my gardens have a huge amount of compost, So my soil holds a lot of moisture, but it also leaks a lot of moisture once I water it a lot. I should have had this done a week ago, but I've been just so busy on the homestead and off the homestead. So I thought I'd come down here at 6 o'clock in the morning and get these watered this morning. My greenhouse is actually growing quite well. We're getting lots of zucchini down here already. I try definitely not to get nitrogen on the leaves of the plants. I hope this video helped you with some of your questions about why your plants are yellowing. And that's pretty much the basic part of it. And if you had nitrogen, you should be pretty well safe. Or make sure your soil's not too compacted. Don't worry about when you first plant your plants if they turn a little yellow, because that's usually just a transplant shock. Watering your plants is very important. Don't overwater, don't underwater. Like I said, go to your second knuckle on your finger. If your soil's dry, then you definitely need to add water. So yeah, I just put nitrogen on all these plants. I won't water them till later today, probably around 5 or 6 this afternoon, because I did check my soil and it was a little bit dry, so they do need watering, but I want the nitrogen to get kind of absorbed into the plant and kind of mix in with the soil around the base of the plants. And then I'll come down and I'll water them this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe consider subscribing, smash that like button, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought of the video. And thanks for watching.